Just see what I did there? No, just move things around just to confuse everyone, but it was under the more tabs. So, all right. So welcome everyone to tonight's webinar. I am so excited to have you here, and thank you to those of you who I've already had a little bit of a chat with for introducing yourself and letting me know where you're at. So today we're going to be talking about how to start or how to launch your virtual assistant business without getting stuck basically down the rabbit hole. Because what I've found over the years is that there is so much information out there now that it can become hugely overwhelming and turn the right people off. And I don't want to be doing that. Okay, so this training is for virtual assistants who want to learn how to set up their business and have strong foundations. So that way you can move forward working with clients that you love on jobs that inspire you. And the reason being there is that one, having those strong foundations will make it so that you fall over less and you can recover quicker if things don't go quite to plan. But also working on stuff that you love rather than just stuff that you're good at is going to be really valuable for you when the going gets tough. And I can guarantee for you right now, it's going to get tough. There's going to be good days. There's going to be bad days. That is true in life. That's for jobs. That's for running your business. But with this, it is tough running a business, but the excitement and the satisfaction is what draws people in, the freedom and the flexibility. But you're still going to have really crappy days. So you might as well make it something that you love. Yeah. Okay, so I keep pressing on other things and then I can't move forward. So I am assuming that you're here because you want to work from home in a business that is taken seriously, where people are paying you what you're worth. They are respecting the skills that you're bringing to the table. They're not comparing you to offshore virtual assistants who are $3 an hour. And you don't have friends and family going, when are you going to get a real job, right? Because that's always fun. That's a confidence booster right there. Thanks, family and friends. And you want to know what to say to your ideal clients so that they jump up and down to work with you. And that's something that I'm really passionate about, is about how to communicate what it is that you do so that they say, yep, you're the person for me. So you want to feel confident about who your business helps and how. And Michelle can vouch for this. This is something we work on a lot when we're doing our training, because at the end of the day, creating all of the things like what Lauren was saying before, creating that content, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, your website, all of those things is going to be really hard to do if you don't know who it is you're speaking to and how it is that you can help you. So it's not for you tonight if you don't like free content, followed by an insanely valuable offer. So I am going to tell you about some pretty good deals tonight, but it's not just a sales pitch. It is about giving you some stuff to go away with that you can action and you can think about straight up to apply to your business. Okay. All right, so with tonight, I will tell you about the Virtual Assistant Stellar course and the method that we use within that helps you move forward in your business a lot quicker with those foundations that I was just talking about, helps you identify who it is that you can support and how. And for people who do sign up to that tonight, they will have lifetime access to that course as opposed to a 12-month access to that course. The course can be done at your own pace. You can zoom through it pretty quickly. It will take time because there's a fair bit of work to do, or you can take your time. What I've found though is no matter what pace people do the course at, they do find it beneficial to be able to come back later to check in on areas that they need to kind of rework. So that's why I've made this our offer today, is that you can actually come back down the track whenever you need to, even if you're zooming away with some stuff, but there's little areas of the business that aren't quite working out. That way you can come back and sort of revisit that. Okay, so I want to introduce you to some people who represent a lot of the people that I have worked with over the years, and you may be able to relate to and see whether this is kind of where you're sitting at in your business. So we're going to meet Glenda the Gatherer. I am so creative with my names and stuff, and it had to rhyme. Well, not rhyme, have the same letters. So Glenda is always responding to Facebook posts asking for VA help. Have you seen those in the Facebook groups for business owners where they say, hey, I need a VA? And then about 700 people pop up and go, I can help. Have you ever done that? No, but you've seen them, but no, yeah, but they're so not helpful. They're a massive time waster. It's just a really poor strategy for running, it's just poor for our industry actually, but also for individuals to be trying to garner work that way. Offering general admin, which is something, I hate those words, general admin, because admin is so valuable. And when we say general admin, it's like virtual assistants. People kind of put those words assistant and general and suddenly think that it's worth less. And it's something that we really need to be working on to educate people about how they are so integral to the growth and the success of anyone else's business. But offering general admin and saying, I offer general admin, and they're not putting value on, not communicating how that can help people and how that's valuable. So they're offering it and getting paid very little money, or don't have the confidence to charge enough money. Researching all the technology, and there is a lot. I mean, how many pieces of CRM have you seen out there, or software, image editing software, social media platforms, social media scheduling, bookkeeping software programs. There's a million out there. And if you take one thing away from today, knowing that you do not need to know them all, and you will never need to know them all, then please accept that, because it can be so overwhelming, and you think that everybody else knows all the programs, but they know what's relevant to them. They know what's relevant to their clients, and they learn those, and they knuckle down and they learn them really well, because you don't need to know all of the programs, but you need to know which ones you should know. What about hearing crickets when responding to job leads? So maybe you do have some people that call out and say, hey, I need some help, and you respond, and they just never get back to you. Maybe you're on a network that has job leads, and you respond and you put your heart and soul into it, or you don't know what the hell to say and you never hear back. Has anyone here faced that before? Yeah, so put in the chat for me whether you have been responding to job leads in your business so far, and how that's gone for you. Have a bit of... Slowly, yeah. Hit and miss depending on budgets and expectations, yeah. So sometimes you feel, I'm just going to get whoever it is who's got their camera on, just so their mic on, to mute, if that's okay. Just going to have a little scroll down. Beautiful, thank you. Haven't responded to any job leads as yet. Some work has come to you. That's really great, Kristen. But it can feel like something where you're just sort of throwing it out there, yeah, and you just don't know what's going to come back. You don't know whether you're saying the right thing or not. And there are a lot of places. I know when I first started off, I'd respond to job leads and I would just never hear anything back. And just, I don't even get feedback. So, which is really disheartening and frustrating. And, I know now why some people, they're not getting feedback and they're not getting responses. But at the time, I had no idea. And it just was really off-putting. And the more that happens, the more nervous you get about putting yourself out there. And it's this horrible cycle. Michelle, I've responded and had a follow-up for a response. Some have come back and some haven't. That's right. Yeah. Okay. And then trying to do all the things and getting nowhere. So that's Glenda, and Glenda's working her butt off, and she's pretty amazing, actually. She's got some really great skills. She's got some great background to bring to the table. And yet, here she is finding herself sort of gathering information, trying to get all these different pieces together to make it so it feels solid. But at the moment, it's just not working because she doesn't have a strategy in place to move forward. So she's looking at all the checklists out there and all the tips and the downloads, and it's just really, really overwhelming. And that's what I see a lot of, and that's where a lot of the dropout comes from when people are starting up their virtual assistant business. On the other hand, you could be Stella the superstar. So what Glenda's looking for is the confidence to tell people what it is that she offers and how it eases their pain with a clear offering And that, so because she's clear about it, she knows who it is that she can help. She knows who's going to love her, who's going to pay her prices. And she's going to have really great systems to onboard these clients because it's consistent and it's really clear. So she's mapped out and implemented the steps required to run that business, which is one of the things that we really, really need to be doing to have a smart business moving forward, to have that longevity and survival. So at the moment, you know, you can be looking at it, okay, am I at the point where I'm Stella the superstar, in which case you don't need any help from me. You've got it going, you know what your systems are, you know where you want to go in your business, you know how you ease your clients' pain and how to communicate that, in which case, tell me, I want to work with you. That would be fabulous. Or perhaps you're at the point somewhere between where Glenda was at before she turned into the gorgeous Stella. See how long it took for her hair to grow? Where, you know, still trying to figure out what it is that needs to be done and what sequence to do them in, so that it's not so overwhelming and such a trap of time and effort and money. Okay, so I'm Rosie. I've been yabbering at you for the last few minutes and I haven't told you who I am. I run Virtually Yours, which is a virtual assistant network. And I've been doing that now for 17 years. So I've worked as a virtual assistant for 100 years and then also been running my virtual assistant network. So I came into it working with not-for-profits, community groups, allied health type work. I ended up evolving my business into doing a lot of website and design work, so a lot more technical. And now I work you know, so it took me about 14 years to say, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to focus on working with virtual assistants and helping them grow their business. And so that's what I've been focusing on for the last few years. So I was really, really frustrated and seeing, especially through my network, having so many virtual assistants come through into our community who are these amazing women and they're struggling to be heard. And they are professional. They've got the potential to become someone absolutely amazing, offering these great services. And I'll tell you about a couple of people that have come through the program who are, you know, already at the point now where they are a go-to person for business owners, which is so, so awesome. But they can come in and they've got all of that. They just don't know how to package it up so that, you know, it is something that people want to be jumping on board with. And people do want to work with you. They just want to know how it's going to help them and what that process is. So as the industry has grown over the last few years, the pressure and the confusion has grown too, because there is so much more out there, much more information. There is just, I mean, I was going to call this webinar, you know, how to launch a virtual assistant business without getting caught down the rabbit hole, because that's what happens, is you do just get this massive overwhelm of information. Frustrating. Okay. Welcome to those of you who have joined in the last few minutes. Sorry, I haven't been able to say hello. So because of that frustration of seeing people who have skills, who are amazing people, who should be running businesses that are, you know, bringing in the money that they want, achieving the success that they want. And we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight, about working out what that looks like to you. I decided to start sitting down and looking at how the processes are currently working. And what I found is that because of my background doing all of the web development work, which included social media setup, graphic design setup, website setup, I was able to see that a lot of people were creating their business structures in the wrong form. Well, not wrong form, but the wrong format. So the steps they were taking were making it much harder for themselves because they were putting the cart before the horse. Okay, so the VA startup method was born, and this is what we use in the virtual assistant course that we have. So it's a solution I created when I saw VAs getting stuck in the initial stages of running a business or jumping straight into implementation without preparation. So I've had quite a few people come to me, whether it's through the course or just, you know, through the network, who have, and this may be you, let me know if this is you, where you've jumped into the business because people have said, you've got these skills and I want you to do some work for me. And so you've started straight up with clients. And it's fabulous. But then after a little bit, you realize that you actually don't know how to replicate that and how to get more people, and your process is a little bit everywhere. and you might be doing a whole lot of different things for different people, maybe recreating the wheel every other day, or maybe you don't even love the tasks that you're actually working on from day to day. So you kind of got thrown in the deep end, which can be really fun and exciting and terrifying at the start. But after a bit, you realize that you need to kind of step back a little bit and work out, okay, how am I going to make this work long term? Because at the moment it's, you know, heads down, bums up. Just have a look at the chat there. Oh, Kristen, that's you. Yeah, yeah, Hannah, that's you. Is that the real Hannah? So nice. Okay. So what I wanted to do is create a course that helped them ditch that whole Glenda feeling and feel like they are more of a Stella, which is why I called it the Stella Virtual Assistant course. So making sure that people are focusing on a business that has a clear path and you know, supports specific people. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about how that kind of feels a little bit scary for some people. Okay, so who here would rather feel like Stella? Tell me honestly, would you rather feel like Stella? Yeah. Are you feeling a little bit like Glenda at the moment? Let me know in the chat. Where are you at with that? Well, I have a little, oh, I didn't bring my water in here, so I'm just pretend that I'm going to have a drink. And you can turn your mics off at any point too, if you like. Natalia, if Stella and Glenda had a baby, that would be me. So Kristen, you're not Glenda, but you're not Stella. Are you in between? Michelle says she's in between. Tell me more, Kristen. Hannah's in between. Yeah, you're in between. Yeah. Yeah, so Cass is in between. Closer to Glenda. Yeah, somewhere in the middle. Oh, yeah, exactly. So Natalia, rushed, hang on, I've got the chat coming up, rushed my start and didn't build the right foundations the first time. Yeah, and it happens a lot. And you know, it's interesting actually, because you do see a lot of people out there who, you know, they even in their first year. Oh, thanks, Rhiannon. Yep, probably in the middle. And I do, you know, you're obviously going to make sure that Glenda's ticking all of the boxes that are exhausting so that I can cater for the different types of exhaustion you're all feeling. So you're not going to be ticking all of those boxes, but I'm sure you're going to be feeling some of them. Let's go, Cass. I've been lucky. My social media manager cousin helped organize me. Nice, nice. And having people around you who are business owners as well. Hugely helpful. But you will see people out there who say, you know, I started my virtual assistant business last year and it was such a massive success. I want to now teach you how to do that. Now, the problem with that is that they may actually be that sort of person who jumped in, got a few clients right at the start, and it's working really well, but they haven't hit the hurdles yet. And the hurdles are what the big test is. You know, do you pick yourself up from it? Do you learn from it? How do you respond to when the going really does get tough? So it does take a couple of years, quite a few years in business before you have experienced a lot of the things that do go wrong and are at the point where you have strategies in place to make sure that you can kind of bounce back, or you know how you're going to respond, how you're going to resolve the situations that you're faced with. So yeah, so sometimes people come in and they go, oh yeah, no, success right from the get-go, because they had that client base ready to start with, but do they have the foundations for that long term? And you know, sometimes foundation sounds hideously boring, but it's actually not. It's actually really cool. So alrighty, let's move on. Okay, so I'm going to break it all down for you today at how it works, what I'm talking about. What the hell is it I'm talking about? Okay, so the first, I'm going to talk about 3 mistakes. So these are things that I want you to go away today with, thinking about, okay, am I making these mistakes and how can I turn this around? So the first thing I see loads of Glendas doing is that they offer all of the services to all of the people because they're scared of missing out on jobs. Does any of you relate to that? The idea of niching down is just like, I can't do it. I need the work. I will work for anyone. If a dog rings the doorbell and says they need me to do some paperwork for them, I am going to do it, right? You've got that feeling where it doesn't, and you say, I say to them, you know, who's your target market? And they'll say everyone, or they might say women in business, or new women in business, and that's as far down as they will allow themselves to narrow down their market, because there's this absolute fear of missing out on clients if you do bring it right down, right? It sounds counterintuitive, but it is a massive mistake. So to start with, you will need to pop your toe in, as we said earlier, but not into business as such, but into particular markets. Like, you've got to test and measure in business, no matter what it is that you're doing. Anytime you're doing something new, you test, you measure, you test, you measure. And so you might find, okay, well, I don't actually know who it is I want to work with right now. I do know maybe women in business, women with a particular type of business, but I'm not quite sure who, how to narrow that down further. So when we look at what sort of skills you have and, what sort of outcomes can be achieved using those skills, we can look at, okay, what are the sort of roles that people have? What are the businesses or the personality types that are out there that are going to be waking up in the morning and saying, I wish I had someone who could do blah, blah, blah. And there's always going to be a whole bunch of people in a particular type of industry or a particular type of personality or a particular, service delivery type, like where maybe part of what they offer includes working in a particular program. Maybe they have a certain pain point within a particular program. So if you're looking at accounting, who is it that you want to reach out to and connect with around accounting? Because you could say, okay, everybody needs to do accounting. But if you try to advertise to everybody, you will get pretty much nobody, because it's impossible to connect with everybody, right? So you end up diluting your message because you're scared that if you say things that are targeted and specific, people will go, well, that's not me. But the joy of that is that some people will go, that is me. That's totally me. You're talking to me. I now want to talk to you. Whereas if you have that broad kind of, I want to support everybody with everything kind of vibe, then everyone says, I don't know if you're talking to me or not. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? So as scary as it might feel, it is actually way more terrifying to just throw the net out everywhere and see what you get than it is to be, have a bit of a plan and work out, okay, let's target these people in this particular area who do this thing at this time and this way, and see how they respond. Because when I put my marketing out there, I'm going to be able to talk their language. I'm going to be able to make them feel like they are heard, understood, and that I get what their pain point is and how I can ease it. Whereas I cannot do that if I'm trying to support everybody. Yeah? Okay, so the other thing around that too is that offering all of the services means that you need to then, deliver 100 different things. And so your skill levels you can't be amazing at all of the things. So therefore the price that you charge is going to be lower. You're going to be working more hours for less money, a lot harder to get people in, and different processes for every person, because it's not specific. You can't be too, specific about how you're going to bring them in and support them if you don't have that narrowed down. So it's really hard to resonate with an audience and explain how you can help them. So your marketing then becomes really stressful and inefficient. Okay. So and when we have too many options, people lose confidence in the outcome, or they get stuck because they can't choose, which might be how you felt when we were talking about Glenda and looking at all the different software programs, that are out there. What do I do? What courses do I do? What software programs do I sign up to? If there's some that are out there that say, I'm for new virtual assistants who are located in Australia, who have a background in this particular service, you're going to go, oh, thank God, right? That sign has my name on it. Makes it so much easier. Okay. I used to work at Melbourne and Olympic Parks during the year for various events, and also at the start of the year at the tennis. And one of the things that they taught us was that even though at the information desk, the distance to the toilets was the same no matter which way you went, because you had the what did you call it? I can't remember what it's called, where everybody is outside the tennis center. And we were still told, if people said, where are the toilets, rather than saying it's same in either direction, we would say, okay, what door are you at? And when we know what door they go in, we would direct them to that door and say the toilets are either just past it or on the way. right? So it just eases their pain because now they're not having to make a choice. I know it sounds really stupid, but it's just in our world at the moment, there's just too many choices to be making. We need people to go, this is how it's done. And a virtual assistant in particular needs to be guiding businesses. And you're not there to wait for people to say, okay, I need you to help me with this. You're there to talk to the business owners, look at where they're going, how you can help them, and then guide them there. So even with your marketing, you need to be guiding the right people to the right solution. Yeah? Okay. So we can create that one easy solution, as I said, if we know how it can be solved, who has the problem and what the problem is. And often you'll find that, as confusing as this sounds, all of those things that you would normally be offering that I've just said you need to narrow down may still be included. There's going to be a lot of different elements to what you offer, but the solution needs to be really specific, because the client doesn't need to know about all of the skills you have to create the solution. Yeah, they just need to know what the outcome's going to be. And this is one of the things that people do struggle with when they're starting up their business and trying to work out how it is they can kind of get to that point where they're feeling more like a Stella, and they can see other VAs out there that are doing that. And they're like, what's going on there? But there's one thing they all have in common is they know who their target market is and how to ease their pain and how to communicate it. So you get all of the pieces of the puzzle, put them together, come up with one solution, which is still quite a complex solution. And it's one that your audience, your target market, doesn't know how to do. And you'll find that you'll be able to charge more, work less, and have more strategy and have a lot more fun in what it is that you do. Okay. So with the VA startup method, we look at all the skills that makes that signpost, and we turn it into a powerful outcome that is relevant and wanted by your ideal client. Does that sound like a good plan? Sandy, I'm looking at you. You've got this look on your face like, I don't know. Tell me, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking I'm scared.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, but I get it, and it completely makes sense, exactly what you're saying, and I love that, and I can see why it's a bit of a trap, you know, when you first start out. So yeah, it makes perfect.
It is scary though, isn't it? Which sucks.
I will say that probably the reason why I say it's scary is I won't say a phobia of social media, but I have an issue with promoting myself on social media, so I haven't quite come to grips with that.
Yeah,
completely get that it's necessary, and you know, it's the way of the world. I completely get all that. I've, you know, just got to come to terms with that. Yeah.
Yeah, yes and no. Cass just said social media is my worst nightmare.
Look, hey, it's not just me.
It's so not you. Who else here? Who else here hates it? It's one of those places where you kind of, you might, I don't know anyone who really loves social media. I think we know we need it and we may be addicted to it, but it is such a scary space. It really is. And when I first started up, here's like a little funny story. When I started up, probably about 4 years into my business, I was on Facebook. So I started in 2004 and I was on Facebook and I said, oh my God. So it came up in a memory. There's people, Rhiannon doesn't like it either. There's people on Facebook promoting their businesses. What the hell? That's what I wrote, right? So, and that came up about 10 years later as a memory. And I just went, oh my God, how the times have changed, you know, and now like everything I do is on there, but it depends on, so is that Hannah or is that Louisa that said, I hate it, I do Facebook minimally and none of the rest? Natalia, that's why I need your help. Yep. So for those of you who have the wrong name tonight, it's not your fault. It's Louisa. I recognize you. So yeah. So if you hate an element of what could be part of your business, right? So there's two things you can do. One, practice what you preach and outsource it. So a lot of business owners are going to be getting you on board because of that exact same feeling. Yeah. Where they just go, I hate it. I hate it. I don't want to be in that space. I just hate it. And so they need to outsource it for their own mental growth. I outsource the reception for my business because even though I worked at Melbourne Park on the phones, even though my first initial jobs were all phone-based, I now have an issue with phones. And I don't know why, and I can't really explain it, but I get really anxious about having to call people and to, follow things up on the phone. I do as much as I can on my computer, right? Even though when I'm on the call, I usually have a great time. Most of the time I will chat to people on Zoom instead of the phone because I have less of an issue. Like, it doesn't make any sense. But
yeah, that's weird.
Thank you. So that was causing me so much angst for such a long time. And I finally outsourced it. I finally went, Hannah, whose name keeps popping up on here, I need somebody to just take those calls for me. And it allowed so much more freedom in my head to focus on other things. So I've made sure that the people who are doing that know my business inside out and back to front. So they're actually providing so much more to my audience than I would be if I was doing that. And so that's what I want. I want my business to be supporting and helping people. And I was getting in my own way because of some weird, phobia type thing that was going on that I couldn't work out. And I kept fighting it because I couldn't explain it. And then eventually I went, you know what? You don't have to do this. Look at a solution, try it out, see if it works. And if it does, yay. If it doesn't, then we'll work something else out. That's how I approached it. And I haven't gone back since because they are so amazing. They message me whenever there's a call and they've had a chat. They give me a summary of it. And I go, sweet, that's exactly what I wanted that person to hear. And it didn't come from me. Yay. And if people want to speak to me directly, they can line up a call with me. So I'm not hiding from people, but I'm supporting them in a better way by outsourcing stuff. And so this is a message that you need to be communicating with your audience. And the fact that you feel that, I actually think is awesome because it gives you insight into how a lot of your clients would be feeling. A lot of anxiousness and frustration and restriction on what it is that they can do and achieve in their business without even knowing how to explain it. I mean, what's holding them back? It's just themselves. Yeah. And somebody else can help them. And that's taking that role out, that pain, there's such a pain point, and resolving that for them. Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So you don't have to do stuff that you hate doing, because as I said at the start, we want you to be working on stuff that you love, because it's going to be tough even working on things that you love. Whereas if you're doing things, this is what I found, if you're doing things that are, I don't know why this is all flashing up. If you're doing things that are really kind of draining you because they stress you out, even if you can't explain why, it's going to just really block up how successful you can approach each day. And we all know we don't want to be bogged down with these feelings of inadequacy and questioning, why do I feel like that? Why can't I do it? It's something simple. Why can I not just answer the call? And then you doubt yourself, and we don't need more of that. I'm sure we all have enough self-doubt without adding to it. So let's just try to support ourselves as much as we can. But anytime that you're feeling like, okay, that's really hard, or I don't like how that feels, just remember that that's how your clients will feel as well. And when I say to you, practice what you preach and get somebody else to help you, how does that feel as well? Do you feel sick letting somebody into your business and seeing how much of a colossal mess it is in the background, or how little money it might be making, or how you really don't know what the heck it is you're doing just yet? The people that can support you don't care about that. The fact that that's a mess or that you don't know what you're doing gives them work, which is great. And usually they get really excited about resolving that. So knowing how that feels means that you will respect your audience and your client, your target market more, because it's actually not that easy to outsource. Once you start, it's fine and it's addictive. And Rhiannon, oh my God, that's my life right there with a cat, like just stalking behind. So cute. But there's one of the biggest things, and I should have put this in as one of the mistakes actually, is where virtual assistants don't realize how hard it is for someone to trust them to look at, I always call it your business undies, and to to show everyone how much of a colossal disaster it could be in the background, or to share what it is that they are trying to build and they're worried that you're going to tell someone else or copy it. So there's a lot of fears around letting people into your business, and that's something you need to take really seriously as a virtual assistant and really respect them with that. And that can come across in your communication with them about how you get it. You get that that's hard, and you're there to guide and support them and make it as pain-free as possible. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you don't have to do everything for everyone. You need to have a smart solution for your ideal client. That's the dream. Mistake number 2. So creating all of your branding, your website, and your messaging before getting clear on who that is that you're trying to support and how. So we all jump out and we go, okay, well, the first thing I need to do is create a business name and a website and a social media page. And Michelle, Louise, are you feeling it? You know, you go out there and you do that. And if you get someone to help you with bits of it, they ask you all these questions you don't have answers to because you don't know who it is that you're trying to help yet. So when we do the VA startup method, we actually don't look at that until you have worked out all of the things that I've spoken about previously. Because can you imagine going to your, into WordPress if you know technology, or going to your web developer if you don't, and going, okay, so these are the people that I'm trying to communicate with, and I need to tell them that this is the problem I solve, and this is how I can guide them. Easy. Yeah. And even if you don't know how to write that or create that, you can communicate that really clearly to your copywriter or your web developer or whoever it might be that's helping you, and save yourself. That's one of the biggest money savers, is waiting on this. You can offer services under your own name for as long as you like, but changing and rebranding and having, applying for trademarks and things like that, they're a big process. And you want to do it, you can change them. I've changed mine over the years. I mean, they date pretty quickly, branding, which is really strange, but they do. But to get started with, and when you start people getting to know you, there is nothing wrong with them getting to know your name before they learn your business name. Because unlike when I started and we put everything as we do this and our team do this, and it was all about making it look like we're bigger than we are. Now we want to know who's we, who's the person. I want to know the person who is going to be helping me. It's way more personal now, and that's awesome. So don't be afraid to let people know who you are. In fact, I highly encourage it, because people will be working with you, not with your business name, not with your website, but they'll be working with you. They want to get to know you. And then once you start building up your community around you, you can announce that you have a website and a new brand, and you can communicate that with an audience, rather than sort of quietly creating all this stuff that nobody knows anything about, that isn't saying the right thing or isn't saying anything specific to anyone in particular. So a whole lot of trying to feel productive without actually achieving anything, when you could be spending time working out exactly who it is you're trying to support and how. How are you feeling about that? Yes, Abby, no problems at all, as long as you give Bubs a big, big kiss for me. I am so jealous of anybody with babies at the moment.
Thanks, Rosie.
No worries. So you need to know what you need to say. If you don't know what you need to say yet and who to say it to, why are you creating all of this content? Okay. We always get told the first things that you need to do. And everyone goes, well, this is really hard. This is so hard. I don't know what to say. And everything I want to say, everybody else has already said before. So then I'm going to be copying people, and it feels really awkward and yuck. And there's nothing unique about me. So what could I possibly say that's going to stand out, right? It's a horrible feeling. But if you know what's unique about you, because you are solving a particular problem for a particular person in a particular way with your style of pizzazz, and your delivery method would be unique to you, you'll be able to communicate that really easily. Okay. So when you're not clear on that, You won't hear back from prospects. You'll have high website bounces. And if you do get referrals from people, they're going to probably suck because people don't know really, who it is that you're trying to support, and they're just trying to send anybody your way. Okay. So, yep, I've said all this. Your messaging says nothing useful. You'll need to redo it later, and you'll need to rebuild trust in your brand. So, I'm just looking at the comments. Rhiannon, yeah, I'm so glad you just said that, because I'm starting out and thought I had to have all the business name all figured out before starting. Oh, I'm so glad I beat you before you started doing that. It's really, yeah, it's so frustrating. And as I said, I did website development and branding for years, and you can't create something out of nothing. You really can't. And your web designer, or, when people go, oh, I don't know what to do with this WordPress site, because you don't know where you want to end up. You don't know what you want it to say. So it's frustrating because people are telling you that and they're causing you more pain. I don't like that. Okay, so you can spend a lot of time and money saying nothing at all. I do that anyway. Mistake number 3. This one took me a little while to kind of work out, to be honest. Working towards someone else's definition of success. So have you ever felt like you need to avoid doing sort of things that might make you too successful, because you'll end up having too much work, you'll have too much responsibility, you won't be able to see the kids, sometimes that's good, sometimes it's bad, all of these things around being successful. You're gonna have to show up like every day and do all these presentations and manage a whole lot of people. Right? It's, for some people, that's success. For some people, that's a nightmare, right? But we're often told that that is success. Lots of money, jet setting, high profile, big business. These are all the things that define success. And so when I was running my business, I was thinking, okay, well, I don't want to put myself out there too much, because I don't want to be doing what Sally over there's doing, where she's presenting in a different state every month, and has this whole big team that she's managing, and is living in this big posh house or whatever it might be. I actually really prefer to be attending the school kids stuff without having to ask permission to have a day off work, or going to the hairdressers without having to tell the boss, or not having to get a bloody medical certificate if I feel crap, and actually just going to bed and looking after myself, paying my bills and working with people who I love. And for me, that sounds like the dream, right? Nobody sells that as the dream. How can they not sell that as the dream? That is so nice. That is so the way you want. Some people want one, some people want the other. You can tell which one I like. So just having a really clear idea about not only the sort of lifestyle you want to have and getting clear on that, but also understanding what your big why is. And for me, I realized after a while that if I've sold my business down the track, I can't even speak English tonight. If I sold my business down the track, and there was one thing I wanted to achieve, what would it be? Right. And so for me, it was more around, if I could say I'd had an impact on how much respect virtual assistants in Australia get from other businesses, then my work here is done. If I'd had any impact on that. And so that's something I work on all the time. And that means that when I'm making decisions around what I focus on in my business, I can go, does that lead me towards that goal, my big why? Or is that taking me off tangent? If it's taking me off tangent, is it worth it? Let's assess this. Let's see whether it's worthwhile or not. Or if otherwise, don't do it, because it's not heading towards my big why. But also, I stopped fearing success when I realized what my definition of success was and how I would get to that. So I don't want to have a big team of people who are working for clients on my behalf. I've had people say to me, oh, with Virtually Yours, you should be taking a cut of all the leads that come through. You should make it go through the business. And every time a job lead comes through and a virtual assistant gets one of those gigs, it should go through you like a placement thing, and then you can get a percentage. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. Like, one, it goes against my big why, because my big why says these virtual assistants are running their own successful professional business and should be treated as such, not as a little, under thing of me. And two, I don't want to be managing that sort of process. I don't want to go back and do all of the HR stuff that's required for that, the legalities that's required for that. No, not interested. Now, if I wanted to be a really, make a lot of money and be really big and have a big team, then yes, that's what I would do. But I'm really comfortable with what my why is and what my definition of success is. So I can say, no, I don't want to be doing that because it's just not on the cards for me. It's just something that doesn't interest me at all. But, these other things that I work on, they really excite me. They make it like I have fun doing them. I feel like it's leading towards my big why. That makes me this amount of money that I'm looking for. And I can, as I said at the start, I can go to lockdown out of the equation. I can go to the hairdresser when I want to, or I can, attend the kids' activities if I want to. And for me, that freedom is what I've been aiming for. I remember when I was working as an office manager, and I used to, I had a Datsun 200B, and I would take that out to Officeworks to go and pick up the stationery. And getting out of the office into the fresh air, especially on a summer day, out in the car to go and get that stuff and driving back, that was my freedom for the day. That was my favorite part of the day. And I remember when they started doing online orders, and my boss said, we're going to do Officeworks online orders from now on. And I just went, oh my God, you can't do this to me. Like, that was just, I have to get out of here. I have to have that flexibility. Otherwise I am trapped. I'm stuck in here all day. I have no excuse to get out, and I need to get out for my mental health. I need to get out. And so now whenever I go out and I do stuff like that, I remember if I'm out driving on a sunny day doing whatever it is that I want to be doing, I remember that. And I think this is my definition of success, is that I can choose to go out whenever the hell I feel like it to do what I want to do. Yeah. And a lot of people who have done EA, PA type work in the past know that you can get really, really shackled to the office. And so that freedom is a really nice sort of place to be. Yeah. Rhiannon, oh, I like you. Yeah. So, and it's just a yucky feeling. And yeah, not having someone managing your time. I laugh now because I say that I am totally unemployable because I am so stubborn. I'm like, no, you're not telling me what to do when, even if it would be really good for me. I'm like, no. So let's have a look at the other questions here. Natalia, I quit my job at the start of the year, so I didn't have to answer to any but myself. Yes. I didn't like the idea of someone managing my day or time. Officeworks is life. Yep. Yeah, exactly. And I think it's important not to lose sight of how those things impact our mental health just day to day, and how in a positive and a negative way. There's so many things as adults, kids just don't realize that we've got so many commitments to everyone and everything everywhere, that those little bits where we can go, you know what, I'm not having someone manage my day and time. And things like there's virtual assistants out there who are amazing at blocking time out for clients. And some who are like me, who are like, no, don't tell me what day I'm going to be working on what, because I've got to fly on the seat of my pants, and I'll work on what's, where the juices are flowing, right? So understanding yourself, which is another thing that we look at, is really important when it comes to working out what it is you're going to be offering in your business, knowing what works for you and not fighting that. So if you're not a time blocker, and you're like me, you need to be offering a service that doesn't require that, where when you're working on the job is, getting it done by a set deadline is what matters, not so much about being available at set times, whereas other people thrive on that. So that self-awareness is really important. Okay. Alrighty. So yeah, I just really like this picture, I'll be honest. Thinking about whose dream it is that you're working towards. Is it someone who's told you that jet setting and Lamborghinis is the dream? Or is it someone that knows you and knows what floats your boat? Okay. All right. So yeah, when you think of success in your business, up until now, did you feel like that was something that made you feel really empowered, or something that made you feel kind of scared? you know? So if it was something that made you feel scared, perhaps you're working towards the wrong, you know, definition of success. You want to have a little bit of fear because it's got to be something that's going to challenge you. But if it's one where you just go, oh, I don't like that, maybe it's not the right one. Okay. And this is what happens. You end up procrastinating and avoiding things. You end up stressed and you will self-sabotage. Whereas if you know what your definition of success is and you're working towards it, you will do the absolute opposite. Okay. So we don't work, if it doesn't feel right, we're not going to enjoy doing it. We're going to have lack of clarity. We're going to have comparisonitis, which I'm sure we all know how that feels, lack of confidence, because, you know, that's not who I am. I'm fake. That's not me. And they're going to work that out eventually, aren't they? And it feels really yuck. So own who you are and be really, really self-aware of it. So and that way you'll get excited. You'll get more ideas, as well as when you outsource the stuff that's draining you, you'll be able to take action. And yeah, you might feel a little bit vomitous, but you'll be on the right track. It's the right kind. Okay. All right. Yeah, it feels right when you feel like it. So it's really important to create your own definition of success. So are you looking at launching your VA business without getting lost down the rabbit hole? Is it something in the comments? Is this something that you really want? Or is this something where you're like, I don't know. There's no right or wrong answer. Just so I know where you're at. Rhiannon, yeah. I need it. Yes. Yeah. Awesome. Oh, that's so cool. Nice. This is like silent energy. And you know that you can do it, yeah? You know that you can do it. Yeah, if you feel like you're in the rabbit hole, that's where, you know, you can come up for air and assess. And that's why I've got the method, so that you can go, okay, alrighty, where am I at? Why am I doing what I'm doing right now? And where, you know, regroup. And it's really hard to regroup if you don't have a strategy there to follow. I know it's really, really full on. Yeah, with the right guidance. Yeah. Oh no, Kirby. It must be Grotsky down there. 12 months down a rabbit hole. That's frustrating. Yeah. Gosh, let's get you out of the rabbit hole. Okay. So the VA startup method has 5 key modules, but they've got a lot within them. But these are I decided to sort of lay out what the sequencing would be to move your business forward in a way that kind of makes sense. So, and we've touched on a lot of these different areas already tonight, just in like top level. But we look at who you are. So, you know, again, how you're going to approach your business, how you're going to respond to certain situations, what sort of personality type you have, how you're going to cope when things are frustrating, when you're lacking motivation, when you've got, you know, you feel like everybody else is better at it than you are, you know, how are you going to manage that? Because you've got to manage yourself first, right? So we look at that first, and you can kind of decide at that point, okay, well, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I don't like any of these things that I'm going to have to do. And trust me, there's nothing in there that you don't already know. And you might go, look, you know, I need to just go back and get a job somewhere. But for others, we'll go, okay, well, these are the strategies I'm going to be implementing when this happens, and this happens. And also just having a bit more of an awareness around the types of people that are going to be around you and how to work within those different personality types. The next area, now I think in my slides I actually go through this. Yeah, so we look at that. Play to your strengths is the first section. So with that, we look inside you to find out, yeah, so understanding yourself, how other people tick, and it will give you a head start, because as I said at the start, remember how I said earlier about how people feel when they need to outsource, when they've got something that they feel really gross about, and they have the block, but they need to get help with it. All of those things are around how they're responding to the pain point, how you can support them with that. So understanding and having that compassion for the situation that they're in is going to put you ahead of people who are like, okay, well, just give me the job. You know, you need to have someone do that for you. So, and I'm really good at it. So I don't get why they're procrastinating on this. You know how you hear people say that? They're just not making a decision, and it's really annoying. What I hear is, okay, they're scared of something, or maybe they've got too much eggs in another basket somewhere. I don't know how that quote works anyway. Or, you know, there could be something else there that you're not even thinking about, and you're not putting yourself in their shoes. You're not communicating with them about what the block is for them. Instead, you're just going, well, why don't you give me the work? Which is why I say to virtual assistants, you should always practice what you preach and outsource some stuff so you know how it feels, because it can be quite a weird feeling to start with. Okay, so looking at how, you know, what tools you have available to you in terms of your ability to respond to stressful situations, communication skills, what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and how, you know, what sort of mindset you're going to be bringing to the table. They're all things that we look at in that first section. And we actually do have a little bit in there where we look at tips around self-care. So not in terms of having a shower, but in terms of, okay, so what things can you do when you're feeling really crappy about things, or when you're feeling like you've got no motivation, you're struggling, things aren't going the way you want them to do. Some tips in there around that. So, because it's all about looking at you to start off with. So I want to tell you about Lee. Lee's done our course, and what she said was that she felt that there were a lot of things there that she would have overlooked if she'd rushed into starting a business. And so, and a lot of people, as I said, they start off and they jump in, and then things go kind of a little bit pear-shaped and a little bit awkward because there's things that they haven't addressed, haven't looked at when they're setting up their business the right way. So she says that she was at a crossroad and she thought working for herself would be a good idea, and she wanted to have the guidance to take those steps forward. So she had, you know, access to all of the steps that she needed to take to get her from A to B and out of those crossroads. And those crossroads are really frustrating, scary time, especially when you have a mortgage, or you've got kids, or, you know, you've been in one particular job for a long time. It can feel really, really intimidating. Okay, so the second area we look at the offering, and the offering is around, okay, well, what are the skills that you have? Because if you're awesome at Excel, or you're awesome at Canva, or you're, you know, great with numbers, maybe you're a really good talker, they're all really cool things to have. But what does that mean for your audience? One of the really interesting things for me at one point in my business early on was when a virtual assistant wanted to work with me. And I said, how can you help me? And she said, I can do anything. And she didn't end up doing anything for me because I couldn't think what she could do for me. And it's funny, you need to tell people what you can do for them and how that's going to impact their business, and be specific. So coming to me, there's an example down further in of another testimonial from 𝐂𝐀𝐔𝐍𝐂𝐇, who Michelle and Louisa would know. And she came in and she did our course. And when I first started talking to her, she's like, you know, I'm this is understatement of the year. I'm good at Excel. And I'm good at, like, she's just like a magician with Excel, and she's good with numbers and helping people work out, you know, what's going on with their finances and forecasting and things like that. But initially she said, I'm really good at sort of finance and Excel. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? And the more we spoke about it, the more we looked at, okay, so how can you turn those into something that's going to ease people's pain? The more the business developed into something where people now go to her to have incredible spreadsheets created that help them have insight into what's going on in their business. And she can create these incredible charts and stuff that will all self-populate, whatever it might be, so that people can go, okay, well, this is how I'm making decisions now in my business. Because I can see things that I couldn't see from my normal spreadsheets or my normal bookkeeping software. She's given me the power to see these numbers so that I can take action. So that was the service. That's the offering. That's the outcome. The fact that she's good at Excel didn't tell me anything at the start. The fact that she's good with numbers doesn't tell me anything at the start. But once she turned it into something, then we just go, well, when people talk about how they just, then I don't know how to even read my budget. I don't know how to forecast, you know, depending on what sort of business they are or how they work, what sort of systems that, you know, click for them. the right person, we will go, well, you need to just speak to 𝐂𝐿𝐿 because that's how she's amazing at that. Okay, so she's narrowed it right down to this service offering, and she's already become a bit of a go-to for that. She's got these downloads so you can calculate what, you know, your tax services are going to be, and yeah, it's just incredible. So yeah, talking about your skills doesn't get you clients. You need to know what problem you solve and for who. And so we look at that in the offering area, and it's an area where people do spend a lot of time, and it can be, that's a bit of a trial and error spot as well. So as I just said, you can't just jump up and down saying, I can type, I'm really process driven, because people don't care. Okay. They care about you, but they don't care. So you need to turn those skills into a solution. And that's what we look at. That's something that I really struggled with at the start in my business. And I really wish I'd had someone there to kind of help make that conversion. Okay. Look who's here. You can comment too. You can tell people if I'm telling fibs or not. So Michelle's actually here. She doesn't know that I'm, you know, broadcasting her face all over the place with her beautiful profile picture that she's had done. And so so Michelle has been really amazing to work with, and there has been the whole trying to work out the target market, seeing what fits, what doesn't, what's rolling and what doesn't, and it's been a really interesting journey, and probably one that can be quite frustrating at times. Yeah, Michelle? Yeah, and you can take your mic off if you want to, but yeah, having access to, yeah, no worries. So how have you found it though? Like having access to the course and having access to the different, you know, options available. Has that been a good thing, or how have you found that? And I haven't planted her in here. She didn't know that I was going to be doing this to her.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been really good, but I find I keep getting stuck on the offering and the target market, but I'm not thinking that's a bad thing. It's just helping me learn what works and what doesn't work. And it's good that I've got people who I can come back to and ask questions of.
Yeah, because it's not, as I said at the start, you're not necessarily going to, you know, dip the toe in and come out all covered in gold. Sometimes you'll go, okay, well, those people just, a lot of the time, the people women want to work with don't have enough money to pay them. Because we love working with new business owners who are growing like us, and we love working with not-for-profits, we love working with charities, and we love working with, you know, people who are doing really awesome things. And a lot of the time, those people just don't have the money to be paying for somebody to do stuff for them, or they can't see that. Or even in some instances, you'll have that lack of tech awareness where they're still sending bloody faxes, or, you know, everything is a publisher file and they're not quite there yet. And so you might find that you go, okay, well, there's a massive gap there, and there's an ability for me to support these people, but there's going to be a lot of education involved to get these people at that point. Am I willing to do that, or am I not? If I'm not, okay, I need to look at another audience and go, okay, well, these people will have those similar sort of pain points, but they're more ready. And what does that look like? So it's definitely a, you know, test and measure kind of situation with the offering. And that's why, you know, you don't want to go out there and go, okay, well, I'm going to be supporting these people and create this whole website. My logo and my business name totally resonates with those people. And then you find that they are just not going to, they're not buying in. Right. So it can be frustrating, you know, trying this out and seeing what works and what doesn't, and having a couple of times there where it doesn't, but geez, it's going to save you a lot of time in the long run in terms of, you know, reinventing the wheel and trying to sell to people who don't want what you've got. And that doesn't mean that what you've got's not valuable. It's just that they're not the right people. It's about them, not you. And so, you know, that's something that you need to be really aware of as well, is that you've got great skills. This is all of you. You've got these skills that you can bring to the table. But, you know, so there might be a fabulous cook out there that cooks amazing food, but, you know, you can't eat it because you're gluten intolerant, whatever it might be. It's nothing to do with them. And, you know, it's all about the individual. So and that's where the mindset stuff comes in, about not taking it too personally and being able to pick yourself up and try something else and moving forward. Yeah. Okie doke. So Module 3, we look at foundations. And this is, I don't know, it sounds boring, but actually isn't. It's not. We're looking at, and I think a lot of VAs love this sort of stuff anyway, looking at making sure that you are not breaching copyright for other people. This is an area that people tend to kind of just not know anything about. Are you breaching somebody else's trademark when you create your business name that sounds like theirs, but it's not exactly the same? That's okay. Or if you have a logo that looks kind of like that, but it's a little bit different, is that okay? So there's a lot of things you need to be considering when you start off so that you get, again, you're not wasting time, money, and effort. Making sure that you have the right insurances in place if you deem that to be something that you want, making sure that you've got a client agreement. Again, you don't want to have an agreement in place, a lack of agreement in place, sorry. Start working with people because they've kind of thrown themselves at you and the opportunity's there, and then find out later, well, they're not going to pay you anyway because they didn't sign an agreement. There's all these sorts of things that can happen if you're not set up properly. And I don't want people to sit in the foundation section for long. I think it's a checklist area. You need to just tick it off, get it done. Because people want to make sure that these things, they worry about these things so much. Oh, which CRM am I going to use? Which bookkeeping software am I going to use? Should I get insurance? What does my agreement document look like? And it's a procrastination technique so that they don't have to move forward. And I don't want that. So I've made it so that you've got those steps there. Just tick them off, get them done, move forward. Okay. So yeah, do them once, do them properly. You don't have to keep coming back. So there's a lot of things in there in terms of foundations. And it's not even just around, agreements. Everybody says, if I do a course, will I get templates? Yes, of course you're going to get templates. But are you going to have a look and address what sort of boundaries you're going to be putting into place to make sure that your clients aren't ripping you off or calling you at stupid amounts of time or making everything an emergency? So being aware of how you can set yourself up so that you have really good relationships with that respect, the boundaries in place, getting paid the right way, making sure that you've got your goals in place and that you're moving forward with them. They're all part of those foundations. So Jasmine just said that's where you're at, even though you've been working as a VA for the last 2.5 years. Yeah, it's definitely, something that it can take a long time to kind of get your head around, because we don't learn that in school. None of these things that we look at when we're setting up our business are taught in school. And it's really hard and it's really frustrating. So yeah, there you go. Awesome. So Jatix is the one I was talking about before. She's absolutely incredible. She's like very softly spoken, but she's a powerhouse. So, and I'm always kind of like, oh, wow, she did the Stellar course because I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, I'm going to be asking her to come in as an expert and do stuff with people, because she's, and you could be that, you could be that person who's got those skills that once you've got to get this stuff set up so that you can shine and show people this is what I rock at. And a lot of what I teach, when it's not done, means that you're not getting seen for this cool thing that you can do. And you might not want to be seen by everyone, but you need to be seen by the ones that matter in your definition of success. And, I want you to be able to step up and go, look at this cool thing that I do. And that's what Jatix has done. And it's been really amazing. So yeah. Okay, marketing, another area where people hate. We all love social media. We've all agreed on that. So you don't have to spend a lot of time in social media to market your business. It's all about knowing where your audience is, when they're there, and again, about what's their pain point. What are they looking for a solution to? Do they know what their pain point is? Do they know they have a problem? Do they know where to go for the solution? What knowledge do they currently have? This is what marketing is all about. Knowing where they are at in their head right now. So do they know they have a pain point? Some people don't know that something is not working. And so you need to be educating around what the potential could be for people if it was working. So they can go, oh, I don't actually have, that doesn't look like something I have in place. That's why that's not working. Oh, okay, I see. Okay, well, how does that work? And so starting to fill the gap and building up their confidence in you as the person who can then solve their problem. So this is that whole marketing process and the client journey, communicating with people to make sure they get from wherever it is they are, and that's what you need to identify, where they are now to where they want to go. So people who signed up to this webinar, for example, you know, they know what a virtual assistant is, but they don't necessarily know how to make it work for them in a way that's streamlined, and gives them that confidence to market to their audience in a way where their audience is going to go, yeah, cool, that's what I need, right? So today is all about helping bridge some of that gap for you so that you go away with some notes and you can start taking action, and that, you know, and help you move forward in your business. That's what this is all about. It's marketing, but it's education, because I want you to know where you can go and what some of the steps are that you can take right now. I agree, Natalia. Senior secondary school, it's incredible the things that they do focus on. And, you know, just looking back and thinking about yes, I think they do look at a lot of different topics so that you can figure out what it is you want to do in the future. But some people are entrepreneurs or business owners. That's who they are. And it's not even on the curriculum as something that they can really pursue and look at. HR, you know, teaching them HR stuff, or, you know, like the legals. I don't know if it's changed. I assume it's changed. It's been a while since I was in high school, but the legals, you know, were not relevant to running a business. How can I apply all of these things I'm learning in high school to take action when I leave high school without having to go to university to learn the bits and pieces? But I do think with businesses, it's really good if people have been an employee first, because then they can relate to that experience. But at the same time, we shouldn't be stopping kids from learning. At that point, they learn so much so quickly. They could be really making massive, you know, inroads into running businesses that are compassionate and not with that kind of corporate vibe where I have so many people who become virtual assistants because the corporate world has stomped on them and made them feel so bad about themselves, so inadequate or indoctrinated. And, you know, it doesn't need to be that way. So just have a look at the comments quickly. So I think I graduated 10 years ago and wish I was able to learn these things back then instead of wasting time. Yes. Yeah, it's crazy. So okie dokie. So I'm just going to flick through these because, you know, I already know what I've been talking about. Okay, Katrina, she's another one of our stellar students. So I'm just giving you these so you know that there's people who have done this model, the VA startup method, and it works really well for them. And they're names that are, you know, well known within the in our circles. People know that they're doing what they're doing because they've, you know, spoken up about what it is that they're trying to achieve, and it's really great. So she talks again about the crossroads and having, you know, too many options out there. And not knowing which direction to go in. And she talks about how you can have those units with the weekly interaction, apply that knowledge to your business, test ideas. And confidence is something that I'm really big on as well, because I know that, you know, a lot of people that have come, as I said, have come from corporate and their confidence levels are really low, or maybe they've been raising kids for the last few years and everyone seems to think that they're now an idiot. And that just drives me absolutely crazy, because the people that have the balls to come and start up their own business so that they can support other businesses are awesome humans. They really are. And I want them as part of my big why to value themselves and to feel like, you know, they have something really important and beautiful to offer. So yeah, just chuck that in there. And then scaling. So once you've got all those things in place, starting to think about, okay, well, scaling might look to you like, you know, having a big team, like I mentioned at the start, and then you go, well, I don't want to scale. I don't want a big team. But scaling can also be about leveraging your time and your effort. So packaging products, packaging your outcomes, making sure that you're using your time and your effort to the best of your ability, so that, you know, like me, you're not working 5 days a week, 9 to 5. You're making money that you want to be making so that you're comfortable and you're paying your bills on the amount of hours that you want to be working. You don't want to be a chain to your business. So you've got everything set up, you know how you want to run it, you know whose pain you want to ease. And then scaling is about refining it so that it works within your life to achieve that balance that you're looking for. Okay, so yeah, time, people, and packaging. Took me a while to find those, and I just sat on there for like half a second. I should go back. Let's go back. took a while to find those little graphics. Just want to just share that with you. Yeah, thank you. Keep nodding. Thank you. I like that. I'm very easily entertained. You will find that out quickly as well. So you're either going to love it or hate it. So there's one thing I want you to take away from today is that you can create a VA business without getting lost down the rabbit hole, without wasting a whole lot of time, effort, and money. And I've already told you about a few different ways that you can do that. So making sure that you are clear on your offerings. So don't offer everything to everyone. It's a waste of time. Don't create all of your branding, your website, all your collateral before you know what it is that you offer and who you offer it to and how. Okay, so these are things that you can do straight up. Understand what it is your definition of success is. They are all going to save you time, effort, and money. Just those 3 steps. Yeah. So Hannah, is it really Hannah? Sandy, I'm so glad. That's me at home for the last 6 years now trying to get back out there. So it's definitely not our Hannah. So I'm not sure who that is. Feel free to pop your name there so I know who you are. Yeah. And so it's just this inbuilt culture thing where people think, oh, you've just been a mum. Anyone who's a mum knows that there's no just in there. Goodness. Okay, so how can you apply this framework to your business and create your definition of success? Okay, so do you want to be Glenda the Gatherer? Do you want to be Stella? So I want to tell you about the Stella course. Okay, so the Stella course uses the VA startup method. All right, so what it has is a bunch of things that are available to you that I have collated specifically to help alleviate that frustration, that confusion, the feeling that you are lost, the feeling that maybe you are not good enough, the feeling that maybe it's all too hard and everybody else has already got it in, everyone else has got it in hand. Look, you might join the Virtually Yours network and I've had people go, there's so much skill in there. There's so many people in there who are just so incredible. I don't think I can do it. I don't want you to feel like that because they all started there. They all started where you're at now. And I'm not saying that all of them have done my training. That would be the dream. But they have all started at that point where they feel like, oh my God, why am I doing this? Is this a good idea? Maybe I'm kidding myself, but I really do firmly believe that if you've got those skills and you want to have that control over your life and you do respect your clients, as I said, thinking about how they feel, how hard it is for them to let you into their business. So feeling like, yes, I will guide them. Yes, I will care for them in their business. Then this is something you can do. Totally. Okay, so this is what the course gives you access to. So we have a private Facebook group, which is for Stella students only. And that's where you can post your questions, feedback. You can put your worksheets in there to get more feedback from other people and go, okay, so am I on the right track with this? Or I'm thinking about going for this target market. Does this sound like it's clear? This is the pain that I ease. Does this make sense? You also instantly have access to the VA startup method, which is what I've been talking about in terms of looking at the different modules in sequence to help you get where you need to go. So maybe you go, all right, I'm so aware of where my mindset, what I need. I don't need to sit there and do that homework or anything like that. I'm not going to sit there and say, you need to do these things to prove to me that you're amazing. No, you have access to this method. So you can flick through the content because it is sequential. And you can go, no, I know that. All right, foundations. This is where I need to really focus, right? You'll have access to that and you can sit there in whichever section you need to move forward in your business. And for people who actually sign up today to the course, they'll have, as I said at the start, the lifetime access to the course, which Michelle's got. And it means that you can come back at any point if you're doing that test and measure and it's getting frustrating and you want to recheck in and see, okay, so what about this? Could this potentially work? Or I had this problem with this client. How does this look? You can always come in and ask those questions. Otherwise, it's 12 months, which is awesome as well, and gives you plenty of time to have a look at things. But that's what we've got on offer today. I find Zoom really frustrating for sharing presentations and stuff. It just doesn't like you pressing the right buttons. So you've got, you can look at everything in your own pace. So you can take your time. Some people are very, very busy. You might be studying, you might be working full time and think, well, I don't have time for this. You could look at one little section a week if you need to move forward in your business, and you'll know that you're moving forward in the right way, the right steps. So rather than spending, say, an hour on the weekend in that rabbit hole, you can spend an hour on the weekend on a particular module and know that you're moving forward. Yeah. We've got extra content in there as well, because I don't know everything about everything, even though I wish I did. I like to niche down into the areas that I specialize in. So there's some people in there like Kate Toon and Jessica Roberts and Dawn Katie who have areas of specialty. And so there's some recordings in there. There's actually some other recordings as well, but those are the key ones that will help you, move forward. There's also another one in there around niching, specifically niching into Pinterest, purely because I found it really interesting. And I thought that it was great to showcase that one particular platform can become someone's complete business offering. So that's in there as well. It's really cool. Okay, and the lifetime access, which I've just mentioned, so you can grow consistently and keep on coming back. So you're probably going, okay, yeah, that's all very nice, but is it $3,000? I don't have that today. Okay, so the course is 1,200 plus GST, which is 1,320, but there's also a payment plan of $330 a month for however many months that is. I think it's 4 months. Here we go, 330 times 4. It says billed weekly, but I've actually changed it to monthly to make it a little bit easier for people to manage. Or you can do the one-off payment, which is the 1,200 plus GST. So the reason why we've got it priced at this is because there is so much content in there, and you can keep coming back, and you do get access to regular sessions where you can basically have group mentoring. Michelle's attended some of those where she's the only one who's been there and had one-on-one mentoring for the price of nothing. So that can work out really well as well. But what I always say to people, and I do this with the virtual assistant network as well, Virtually Yours, is thinking about, okay, what is 1 or 2 clients worth to me? I'm actually doing some other training in my business at the moment for some technical stuff. And that course is, what is it? It's like 8,000 US or something like that. But I worked out, okay, well, how many products do I need to sell to make it so that I get that back? And then from there on in, I'm making a profit, and I know that I've got myself set up properly. And that's how this is created. So that once you've got it and you've got those things set up, you can become having repeat success in your business. That's the idea of it, making sure that you've got those foundations. Okay. So yeah, so do you know yet how much one client is worth to you? Have you worked out the maths around what a lifetime client would be worth for you? No, some head shakes. No, it's a good thing to work out. So thinking around, and of course it's something that can be quite hard to work out at the start because you've got to work out your pricing. That's another thing that we look at, and making sure that you are valuing what you offer, not based on how easy it is for you to access those services, but based on easing the pain of the person that you're trying to support. So pricing is a really big one as well. Okay. So we've already said that. The other thing is we have a 7-day guarantee. So if you jump in and you go, this is crap, and you message me and you go, Rosie, Dale, love, this is crap, I will I will cry if you do it that way. I highly recommend you say it a little bit nicer than that, but I actually know if you do that way, it will give me a bit of a chuckle now, but you will get your money back, and yeah, all good, because I don't want buyer's remorse at all. Okay, I don't want people coming in going, oh my God, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, I want you to succeed in business, not sit there and go, shit, what am I doing? Okie doke. So starting the clock now. Don't know how to get that to take action in a way that's digital and, moves. So let's pretend that clock's ticking down from now. I better look at my clock. What's my clock? 8:28. All right. Let me know, what questions do you have? And in the chat, I'm just going to put a link to the course so you can have, what's going on? Bear with me. While you think of your glorious questions. Oh, the hospital on the phone, that's not good. Is everything okay? All right, hang on, bear with me. No, it's all going pear-shaped. Oh no, that's not good. Let me know how you go, okay? All right. Oh, I hope it all works out. Okay, so in the chat, I'm just going to put the link so you can have a look. But now's the time to unmute and ask me your questions. So where are you at? What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
It's Jasmine here.
Yep.
Is one-on-one business mentoring coach included in the Stellar course?
You'll find previously you would get access to that. And I have removed it from it because what I'm finding is that with the regular catch-ups, we do end up having some one-to-ones. But also you do have access, you can email me anytime. And if you're really struggling with something, I'll just go, look, are you there? Let's do a chat on Zoom. So rather than making it a formal kind of, because I was doing that previously, I'm like, you got to book in for your session to have a one-on-one. I'd rather make it so that it's sort of as needed. Let's just tap into the, what you need when you need it. And sometimes I'll find that you go, okay, well, I'm stuck on this, and we can chat about it in the group session, and you're not the only one. And that way other people can go, okay, well, this is what I'm trying to do with that. And together we can provide a better solution. Yeah.
Cool. Where is that link? Hang on.
Excellent. If you need more time to think about signing up, no problem at all. So what will happen is you just won't have the lifetime access. So the lifetime access is when, you go, yay, I'm an action taker. And, the reason why we do that, obviously it's a sales technique. You will always get 100% honesty from me. It's a bit ridiculous. But also because I want people to move forward. I don't want you to get stuck. And I know that you can move forward really quickly when you look at it and you go, okay, well, these are the areas that I need to look at. And I'm really happy to have a little chat with you before you start, even if it's tomorrow or early next week, and go, okay, well, what are the areas that you're currently blocked on? Let's look at what we've got in the course and give you a bit of a plan on where you could start. If you don't think that starting at the start is where you need to be, I can have a chat to you about, okay, we'll maybe have a look at this particular area and also check to see, is there anything in there that you might not realize is in there that you could benefit from. So always happy to just have that little sort of orientation session.
If that's okay, I'd like to do that. Yeah,
cool, no worries. Cass, yes, so great. So Cass has asked a question. When talking about niches, would you recommend applying for job leads only relevant to my niche in the beginning rather than to everybody, like to all jobs? Look, yes. I think that if you can do the job, so if you see a job lead come through Virtually Yours, so if you're a Connect level member on Virtually Yours, you'll have access to job leads. And if you see one come through, and I know there's other groups that have job leads as well, and you go, I can do that. It's not my target market. It's not what I'm looking at doing right now, but I can do that. And I'm confident that I can do that. Yeah, go nuts, because you do want to bring in some revenue from the start. I get that. But just be conscious that, that you know why you're doing it and whether there's a timeline around it, whether you're going to be stuck with it long term, what's the strategy sort of down the track. But yeah, look, at the start, let's be honest, you want to get some money coming in. I think the first couple of jobs I had were not ones. I think the first one I did, this is in 2004, when I was 12, was a resume job. It was just a formatting job in Word, and I made $35, right? And I'd invested a fair bit in my business at that point, but I was like, oh my God, I just made $35. And that's never been like my job of choice or anything like that, but I knew I could do it. And so I did it. And then, you know, the whole experience of working with a client, that's always a good thing anyway. So you're learning about that, the client journey, how you're going to bill them, the agreement processes, what you're going to put in place. So it's always a good thing, I think. So she said, I applied for one today where I sold my ability to learn new systems rather than experience, as I had minimal experience. It was a solid application. I love that. Yeah, look, it depends on what people are looking for. And I think when you're responding, as someone who's had a lot of people who apply, when you respond to job leads, it's really important to connect with that person. It isn't even always about how good you are or how much experience you've had with a particular task. Sometimes they just want someone that they feel really comfortable with. And so for me, transparency is always a massive thing. I want people to trust that what's coming out of my mouth is what I mean, what I think. I don't want there to be any confusion around that. I don't say that I can do things that I can't do yet. I will say, like you've just said, I'm a fast learner. And you might say, look, I did this with one of my early jobs, actually. We had, it was pretty crazy. I was working for a chamber of commerce and they wanted me to design a magazine for our local area. So it was going to be printed. And in my 24-year-old knowledge base, I knew that I could probably use Publisher, right, for that. Now, any of you who do design stuff now are probably snorting into your coffee or wine or whatever it is that you've got there, because Publisher is ironically like the worst thing that you could use for publishing. If you send that to a printer, they will slap you. So the first edition, and I've still got them, it's hilarious, was, and this is a proper printed magazine, was done in Publisher. It was extraordinarily painful for everybody involved. Afterwards, we did the next episode, one page at a time in Illustrator. Again, hugely painful, better quality, but the file sizes, especially back then, were phenomenally huge. And it was just, again, a nightmare. And we discovered that we could use InDesign, and I didn't know InDesign. So I said to my client, okay, well, I'm going to allocate to this first edition, I'm going to allocate, I think it was like 10 hours of my time for free learning this software. Plus I had a student card for something. I got my client to pay for me to go and do a 2-day crash course at a TAFE on InDesign, on the proviso that I would then create their document in InDesign, and then from then on it would always be charged at full price, right? So I was learning on the job, very clear about what I knew and what I didn't know. We both invested in that episode, in that edition. So they invested in sending me to that course, and I invested my time. Sorry, I have vocal cord dysfunction and I've just hit a wall with my vocals. And yeah, and it worked out really well, because then, you know, there were a whole lot of issues after that. And also I had a new skill base, and it turned out I loved InDesign. So yeah, being just really open about what you can learn, what you're willing to learn, and how that's going to happen. So for us, both groups contributed to that learning. So hopefully that helps. All right. Any more questions?
Rhiannon here.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. So I still currently have a full-time 9-to-5 job that is, to be frank, kicking my ass. I'm starting to hit a wall with it. Yeah. And I've been doing it for, 5-6 years, and I'm brilliant, like not egotistical about it at all, but I'm pretty damn good at my job.
What's your job?
Well, I am, on my paycheck, it says that I'm a customer service officer.
But what are you really?
But I actually, I work at a panel shop, and in the last 5 years, I've gone from just doing the admin and booking clients to doing that in parts. Now I'm learning how to quote cars and speaking to assessors and all this kind of stuff. I'm doing all this stuff. Plus I'm basically my manager's personal assistant. I organize things for him, make sure that he's happy and well looked after. And it is in a completely male dominated industry. So every single time you have someone with their car, it's like, oh, honey, do you want to go get your mail box for me? And I just sit there like, I know more about this than you think, sweetheart, but okay, fine, you know. So I've kind of hit that crossroad where I want to be my boss. I want to do me. And I don't want people to look at me like I'm less than because I'm a woman. So that's why, like, my foster sister turned me on to you and said, you know, Rosie's amazing. Like, you have to do her course. And I've just
Who was that?
That's Amanda Blennerhassett.
Oh, gorgeous. Excellent.
Yes. So so I haven't started anything yet, but it's been one of those things that, especially the last few years in the making, I've just been thinking, this is something that I want to do. I want to work for me. I'm sick of working for, you know, the man, so to speak.
Literally
in my case. But yeah, so starting from literally zero, like, I know I've got a lot of skills and I know that I'm good at what I do. That is something that this whole course can help me out with, even though I'm starting at zero and I don't have a client basis. I don't have any of that yet, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So the only thing you've got to bring to the table is that experience. So I don't teach you new skills that you're going to be offering. I teach you about turning that into a business. And so that means that whatever it is that you're bringing to the table is going to be unique to you. And you're, you know, so like instantly, you know, we can go, okay, so are you going to be targeting that kind of audience, or are you going to be flipping it completely to work with other people? And like, it's already exciting. I want to know. So do you think you'll stay in that kind of market?
Honestly, I'm not sure. I'm really excited to kind of branch out and see, like, the skills that I do have and the skills that I've learned. I feel kind of all around skills. Like, I can, you know, without saying I can do anything, I can do a lot and I can still learn a lot.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see what, you know, as you said, like, see what the skills I have and what I can make out of them.
Yes.
And how I can go forward with that. So that's what I'm excited to do.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Because I love that process. I love going, okay, so it's funny watching people talk about what they're good at and then asking them what they actually like doing. And the way people talk changes when they start talking about something, even if they're not great at it, if they're excited about it, like their whole body language changes. And it's like, hey, yeah, this is where we need to be focusing, because that's where all the fun is. And, you know, you're going to be excited about learning more about it. And, you know, that's where you want. Whereas a lot of people I have seen come in and go, like, say that was you. They go, okay, well, I've worked in this industry. I know it really well. I'm just going to keep doing that, even though I hate them now and they're all a bunch of twats. But I'm really good at it. And I just go, you don't do that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, like, I don't want to get to the point where I've seen other people in my business who have been doing it 15, 25 years, and they get to the point where the customer service officers that have no customer service, they're rude to the customers. And I sit there, I'm like, yeah, I get it. We fix cars, but you don't have to be rude to the people. Like, you know, they've been through stuff too. That's the point of an accident, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So I don't want to get to the point where I hate my job. I'm kind of, as I said, I'm getting to the point where I'm hitting a wall with it, going, yeah, it's the same thing. Like when you said that whole bit about office works, like I was you at that point, Rosie, like, oh my God, when they told me that I had to only do delivery, I was like, no, but I can't go in the sun now.
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
You're taking out my only sun time. Come on, you know. So yeah.
Yes, I need car, windscreen, sun coming through, hot steering wheel, please.
I've said jokingly to my manager a few times, like, I could just take my desk outside, like my, you know, my headset, everything, just take it outside, just sit under a tree, like that'd be really nice.
Yeah. And that's what I do. I mean, I posted the other day about sitting out on the deck there with my umbrella broke. I bought a new cantilever umbrella and it broke. So thank you, universe. But even so, sitting out there with a cuppa and my laptop and, you know, just sun hat on so that I can still see. Heaven, love it.
Excellent. But yeah, no, I'm 100% in, all in.
Awesome. That's so cool. Sandy, tell me what you're thinking. What is that? What do you mean? Start with you just want me, don't you? You want me all to yourself.
I do. I'm only human, Rosie. I'm only human. So you were talking before about not we're trying to avoid investing lots of resources.
Yep.
Promoting yourself when you don't really know your target market and stuff like that. So I was thinking, is it because if you don't have a business name other than yourself, could you start out with just your name and either a social media post or a single page website?
100%. Yes.
Is that realistic? Is that?
Yes, because it's all about some people just want to know that you're legit, and you don't need 5 pages to do that. You can communicate in one landing page what it is that you do. I know some people that are running their businesses with no website. They might have a LinkedIn profile and that's it. And it's all about just communicating and connecting with the right people. And then, to be honest, how intimidating is it when you speak to a business owner and they're like, oh, no, I don't have a web page. I work with my clients. I spend my time support, and they're so confident about it. And you're like, oh, okay, all right. So you can actually turn that to your advantage. I think that I don't know how they, have that lead gen and stuff like that, but so I should start asking that. But I think that, you can keep it really simple. And the most important thing is making it so that people can start filtering from the start. The right people are connecting with you and resonating with you. And like for me, for example, I'm just a big old doofus right from the get-go, because I don't want people to come on board and then go, oh, she was acting all like this other way, and now I can't keep that up. So as much as just being right up the front saying, okay, this is how we roll, this is how we do it. You don't have to have pages and pages to achieve that. The right people will go, yeah, I like you. And look, it might even be just, I think it would be worth more to invest in headshots than a big website. And you have a landing page that has a great picture of you that really shows who you are. Same with your LinkedIn or your Facebook page, another picture that just shows, like, whether it's you, like the pictures that I had there before with 𝐂𝐿𝐿 and Michelle in particular, you could see different personalities just coming through those pictures. So one's got more of a sort of that really clean cut professional vibe, and the other one's more chilled out but still professional, naturey kind of photo. Certain people are going to pick different ones and resonate with different ones. I saw a website today where I just was like, this is the coolest website, and her photos were just fun and vibrant and just colorful. She had like this behind the actual photo, it was the shadow was graphics, and it was like all this colored kind of quirky stuff as a shadow behind the photo. It's like a backdrop type thing. So it was like a cutout kind of vibe, and then just lots of colors and stuff. And I don't know if she did have multiple pages, but she didn't need it, because the second I saw her personality coming through in those photos, I was like, oh, I like you.
Yeah. And people are going to judge you on that, aren't they? They're just going to make up a snap decision based on what you're putting out there.
I know, don't be scared by that. I know it sounds horrible, doesn't it? But you can't stop them. And I mean,
no. You just want something real and authentic. And
something that don't like, awesome. What can you do?
Yeah, but good on you for having such a strong reaction too. Like, she's obviously doing something right, and onto that.
Yeah, it was very cool. Natalia says, mine is all pink and I've had so many mixed reviews on my branding. Anne-Marie, no worries. I wanted to check in with you, and feel free to message me if you've got any questions, because you didn't really get much of a chance to say anything. So yeah, cool. So I think mine's predominantly, it was blue to start with. Virtually yours started off as blue, and then it went red, and now it's like a pinky red color. I mean, I've had a long time to be able to go, all right, we're changing because I'm sick of it. But yeah, I was initially kind of like, oh, do I go the pinks? But you know what? You need to filter out. My network has got a guy in it. one guy. I have like 120 members on the network and one guy. So I'm not gonna, and he likes pink. So he likes all colors. And the people that I want to attract, just they like fun and brightness, and they don't want it to be too corporate-y, and like that's what they try to get away from. So, you know, it's about attract. So some people have joined my network and they've gone, no, I don't like it. And that's fine, because it's not for them. That's okay. I'll cry.
Yeah. Well, I really loved the presentation. It was really informative, and I'll take so much away from it, and it was really helpful. I probably need more time to devote to a new business, which I don't have at the moment.
Yep.
But I still think that, you know, this is probably where my future is, you know, and
so exciting.
And I'm excited. Yeah.
I clearly have put the wrong link in.
Oh yeah, the conference thing. Yeah.
Yeah, come to that. Hang on a sec. Paste. I don't know why it's going. So maybe I did the wrong when I created the link. No, that's right. That should be right. That one. So I saved it before starting the session, and then obviously clicked on something else and it didn't like me anymore. But yeah, no, all good. Kirby, where are you at?
Yeah, sorry. Me.
Yeah.
I'm currently working in caravan parks up in Echuca, so on the border of New South Wales and Victoria.
Oh wow. Okay. My condolences. Must be so stressful.
It's been a pretty stressful couple of 18 months or so. So I've also got a toddler. So he was born just before the pandemic.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So I just started looking into VAs. Obviously, when he was born, I just didn't get work back. So, and trying to plan for a second one, I'm trying to look at seeing if I can build something up a little, just something on the side for now.
Yeah.
Nothing huge, but yeah, just seeing what we can do.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Hang on, Rhiannon. Thank you so much. Yes, tomorrow morning I will chat to you. Beautiful. Excellent. You're all gorgeous. Thank you. And has so I can't even see who's in the room anymore because I pressed the wrong stuff. And let's have a look. So we've still got a few people, so that's awesome. All right. So yeah, the second kid, you know what I found really funny, when I had the first child, when I was running my business, I kind of got right back into it and I was doing all the stuff. And then the second one, I just like, I don't want to work for 3 months, like at least, but had no interest. It was really interesting. So yeah, so you never know. And also had massive baby brain. I was like, forgetting things like crazy. My VA at the time, Monique, she saved my bacon so many times.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what sort of stuff would you be looking at offering?
So my main stuff has been reception, so customer service, reception jobs. Also I was just thinking then I could like looking at maybe more travel and hotels, so maybe like this B&B niche, maybe looking at helping them out with a bit of behind the scenes stuff if they're new managers and they need a little bit of assistance.
Yeah, maybe. Excellent. I've got a friend who's got I think she does something, she's got a bunch like some sort of B&B setup. I can't remember what it is. Let me check with her.
Yeah.
Send me an email so I've got your details.
Yeah.
And I'll ask her what she's got and what advice she can give you.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Oh yeah, cool. So staying in that kind of getaway vibe.
Yeah, well, I didn't think of it until just now. But probably that's where my skills are. So stick with that for a little while and see where it takes us.
Yeah, that's it. And if you enjoy it, if you like it, so make sure that's, you've got to.
Yeah, I do like the hotel area, just the hours and I don't like the cleaning part. I like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My husband worked at Grand Hyatt for a number of years before we got married.
Yeah.
And actually we ended up being able to have a honeymoon at the Coolum Hyatt as a freebie because he worked for them. So that was really good. But geez, he cleaned a lot of stuff to get that.
Yes.
Intense work.
I cleaned while I was pregnant and it wasn't fun. I'm not doing it again.
Massively physical.
Yes. Yes.
Well, now you can just direct other people to do that.
I hope so. It's a plan.
Yes, sounds good.
Yes.
Who else have we got in the room? Or do you have any other questions, Kirby?
No, I'm all good. Thank you. Perfect.
All right. Well, I'm not very good at keeping track of time. My 15-minute thing just went completely outside the window. But yes, thank you so much for coming along tonight. Send me any questions that you have. I will send the recording out tomorrow morning, so you can tap into that if you need to, and some reminders, obviously, if you're thinking about joining up. And just make sure you stay connected. You're on my mailing list now, so you're going to get, hear from me when I have other updates anyway. Unsubscribe if you don't want to, that's no problem. But yeah, if you've got any questions, I'm excited for you. I think that you've got, there's some really great skills here tonight. And I look forward to working with some of you. All righty.
Thank you.
No worries. Thank you so much. And thanks for chatting. I appreciate it.
Perfect. Thanks. Have a great night.
You too. See you later.